this film. And of course, it's all set against this amazingly beautiful background of the Himalayas and Mount Everest.
Next is finalist Brent E. Huffman with his fascinating insight into the plight of the Uyghurs who fled China but now face repression in Pakistan. The judges said that this was a brilliantly structured film, solid journalism with a beating heart. Let's see a clip.
In a secret location in Pakistan, Mohammed Umer is running an underground railroad, smuggling Uyghur Muslims out of China.
मैं तकरीबन 10 साल से ये काम कर रहा हूँ। मैंने बहुत सारी फैमिली भिजवाए हैं, बहुत सारी फैमिली के मसाइल किए हैं जो वहाँ से हमारे उइघुर जो वतन से आते हैं। तो इंशाल्लाह हम आगे भी नेक्स्ट में यही करते रहेंगे। हमारा फ़र्ज़ है, हम नहीं करेंगे तो कौन करेगा। वो हमसे खौफज़दा हो के तो ही हमारे ऊपर इन्होंने ये किया हुआ है। हिटलर से भी ज़्यादा ख़तरनाक हमारे लिए कर रहा है। नस्ल कुशी तो ये हमारे अंदर छोटे छोटे बच्चे 2-2 साल के बच्चे माज़रा कर दिए इसने, मार रहे हैं उनको, जैसे इतने जुल्म हो रहा है कि दरअसल चाइना इस वक्त पूरी दुनिया के अंदर पावर बनना चाह रहा है। तो इसलिए उन्होंने कहा कि इनको ही ख़त्म कर दो तो हमारे लिए अंदर कोई परेशानी ना हो, क्योंकि इनको मार दिया जाए सबको या इनको इस तरह वो कर दें कि ये किसी की जगह रही नहीं, जो कि आज क्या हमारे साथ जो हो रहा है इस वक्त।
What's really exciting about this film is at the heart of it is a compelling and brilliant character, a Uyghur teacher who's escaped from China, set up in northern Pakistan, and is now teaching other Uyghurs, their children, about their culture.
Uyghurs who fled China now face repression in Pakistan was so ambitious in scope, the fact that the journalist spent years news gathering, and it captured both the intimate human toll of China's persecution of the Uyghur minority, along with placing it in the geopolitical context. We were really so impressed with this fantastic story.
Uyghurs who fled China now face repression in Pakistan is an incredible piece of hardcore, high-quality journalism that ticks so many boxes for me. It tells a human story at the micro level in such a touching way, only to help us understand the macro geopolitics in such depth that I felt I had read a couple of thick books watching that documentary.
This was an ambitious film. It was not only a beautiful character study, it was also a geopolitical essay. Both realized brilliantly, quite a difficult topic, addressed conceptually, and then brought to life by a wonderful, illuminating, inspiring character.
Our third finalist in this category is by journalists Tuja Kareng, Hun Lee and Edward Wynne. Their film takes us far from the urban street protests of Myanmar to the lesser-known rural border areas and gives viewers incredible access to the largely unknown story of secret military training camps and the uneasy alliance between the rebel fighters and student protesters. Let's see a clip and hear more of what the judges had to say about Myanmar, an uneasy alliance.
At a secret location near Myanmar's Chinese border, we've gained access to a training camp run by ethnic insurgents. But the trainees are not hardened guerrilla fighters. They're ordinary young men and women. In 3 months, the army has reportedly killed over 800 unarmed protesters, including at least 50 children, and arrested thousands more. Their resistance has come at a cost. According to independent human rights organisations, since the coup, dozens of civilians have been killed and injured in airstrikes across Karen and Kachin states.
Myanmar, an uneasy alliance, is such a revelation. It had exclusive access in a country that is not at all accessible to journalists. It helps us understand and even foresee the future under this uneasy alliance between minorities and democracy seekers from the majority. It makes sense after all. No democracy can be had without the inclusion of all components of the population.
an amazing report that took us from the urban conflict to the countryside and the border areas and gave us special access to these secret military camps. Editorially, it was interesting because it looked at the past and the present, but also considered the future.
So this was a film that took me somewhere that I hadn't been, to the Kachin in the north of the country and to their training camps. I hadn't seen that on film before, and it was really compelling and extraordinary pictures. What it then did was it placed activists out of their internet cafes and their homes and flats. I loved the fact that the whole thing was structured around this training camp, showing these activists having to get fit and having to understand about how to fight a proper war.
I loved seeing the resolve of the young protesters deciding that because they'd been beaten back by the army, they weren't going to lie down, that they wanted to try somehow to arm themselves spiritually and perhaps physically for the fight ahead. It showed very clearly this is not over.
Well, now to announce the winner, please welcome patron of the Rory Peck Trust, Lord Black of Brentwood.
It's an enormous privilege to be patron of the Rory Peck Trust and to have the opportunity to present this prestigious award tonight. The Trust does exceptional, life-changing work, and it does so in a very tough environment. It's a small organisation with limited resources, but its influence and its importance are out of all proportion to its size, especially at a time when, tragically, the dangers for journalists worldwide are growing. What it does is absolutely vital, not just for individual freelancers and their families, but for media freedom. For without a safe environment for journalists and reporters, and help for them when they are in difficulty, there can never be a truly free and independent media. That the Trust achieves so much is thanks to its dedicated supporters, many of whom are here tonight. And I would like to offer my deep personal thanks to all of you for everything you do to ensure that the Trust can continue its crucial work. The support you give makes such a huge difference. Thank you. And now to the award. Congratulations to all the finalists, but the winner of the 2021 News Features Award is Brent E. Huffman for Uyghurs who fled China now face repression in Pakistan.
Boy, thank you so much. I just flew in this morning, so I'm still on Chicago time a little bit, so I apologize. But thank you so much to the Rory Peck Trust. This is an enormous honor. I'm so touched. I'm hoping this win could bring more attention to the Uyghur issue, both inside China and outside of China in countries like Pakistan. I would say the genocide of the Uyghur people is the most pressing human rights issue of our time, and I dedicate this to Umer, the activist at the center of the film. I hope people are inspired by his story and feel moved to get involved and to help. Thank you so much to my team at Vice News tonight, Sean Stevens and Madeline May, who were incredibly supportive. Thank you to the Pulitzer Center and the Buffett Institute, who fund this project. And thank you to Shaoli Jo, my wife, who's home with my young children, and who I couldn't do this kind of work without her incredible support. Thank you all so much.
What a truly unique story. Well done, Brent. Now, let us welcome to the stage the other finalists in this category. Suraya Banerjee, who came over all the way from India to be with us this evening, as well as producer Tom Sheehan and executive producer Fiona Lloyd-Davies. They worked together with Tuja Kareng, Hun Lee, and Edward Wynne on the film and are here to say a few words